Hi everybody, I'm Dr. John Douillard and welcome to LifeSpa.com, where we prove the ancient medical wisdom of Ayurveda with modern science. And I want to talk today about something called Ritam, kind of the Vedic approach to fulfilling your desires, but much different than the idea of fulfilling your desires for a new car, a new house, or manifesting things in the relative that will make your life more comfortable. From the Vedic perspective, it's completely different. It's about alignment. It's about coherence. Coherence between your brain, your heart, your respiratory tract, your mind, and creating everything to be in such resonance that your physiology entrains with the silence of nature, the quantum fields of intelligence, the quantum field of consciousness that becomes matter, where the field becomes physiology. And when the field becomes physiology and the physiology forgot that it is part of that underlying quantum field, and the body, the physiology, starts to function as independent of that field, that, from the Vedic perspective, is the cause of disease. It's called pragya prad, the mistake of the intellect. So from a perspective of Ritam, it's about having a desire from that field, because that field is the creative potential. That's where all creation comes from. That's quantum physics. It's quantum science. It's very real science now. It's been Vedic science for thousands of years. How now, however, is something that we know to be true. It's so hard to believe that that rock is actually nothing more than concentrated frequencies of an intelligent field, but that's the reality. So Ritam is about aligning your thoughts, not aligning the coherence of your brain, your heart, and your respiratory tract and your breath with that underlying field of consciousness. And once you create that resonance, that coherence, and then you initiate a desire or have an intention, that field will carry that intention into manifestation, but only if that is based on truth. Truth being something that will be life-supporting, fulfilling not only just you, but everything around you. And that's the beauty of Vedic science. It's not about manipulating the field of consciousness, that creative intelligence. It's about becoming one with it. And that's the beautiful thing. So that's what I want to talk about today, is this idea of Ritam. And how do we actually, begin to experience that in our life? And of course, that's the Vedic journey. And I guess the best way to start this is with the idea of what carries this intention into manifestation. And that would be what are called ultra-weak photon emissions that come out of your DNA, thousands per minute. Many of them are what are called incoherent, coming from DNA damage, free radical damage from the production of energy, from the mitochondria, the ATP, the energy that actually has free radical waste. All energy production has waste, and it can be very damaging. So we need free radical scavengers to clean up that waste. So most of the photon emissions out of our body are actually quite damaging. But studies show that when you do yoga, breathe, meditate, and still your nervous system become calm, that those incoherent photon emissions become coherent. And when they're coherent, the studies show that they carry information. They carry our thoughts. And emergent science, and there are studies on this, show that the coherent photon emissions can carry intention. So the whole point of Ritam is to actually create an intention from the field that is carried on the backs of these frequencies of light, which actually become particulate and the beginning of the manifest journey into creation. That's the beauty of Ritam. So I wrote a complete an in-depth article about this, and the way to create this coherence, which is measured by your heart rate variability, which is your heart when it's going bam, 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 lockstep. There's no variability there. And heart rate variability means that you're relaxed and the body is more parasympathetic dominant versus sympathetic dominant. It's also based on neural synchrony, brainwave synchrony, all these things that represent the physiology in a calm state is how you create that coherence or that resonance from the physiology to the field. And then you initiate a desire from that place. So I'm going to share with you some of the ways to do that. In the article associated with this video at LifeSpa.com, if you're watching this at LifeSpa, please subscribe to our channel. I'm on all the social channels as well. You can get the full article and the full video always at LifeSpa.com. Just subscribe to my newsletter. And of course, we have an Ayurvedic store there where you can check out all of our Ayurvedic herbs that I formulated over the years. And at LifeSpa.com, there's about 1,500 articles and videos there where you can look at type in your concern and read about the ancient Ayurvedic wisdom and the modern science. That's what we do here at LifeSpa. So in that article that's in depth, there's this video, but also there is a series of coherent therapies that have been shown, based on good science, that actually create levels of coherence, respiratory coherence, brain coherence, heart coherence, and there's heart meditations and just about 7 different techniques to create coherence. So my point is that I can't just give you the Ritam technique and it's probably going to work because it's based on coherence. So that coherence is something that you do as part of a Vedic lifestyle. And the reality is that there's just no shortage of Ayurvedic techniques that create kind of coherence that we're talking about. But I kind of cherry-picked the top 6 or 7 of them, and that's going to be your homework to make the Ritam happen. But I know that you're all anxious to know about what the Ritam technique would be, so I figured I would share that in this particular video and have you go back to LifeSpa.com and read the whole thing, and then start practicing these coherence techniques to create mind, breath, brain, and heart coherence. That's the key to get the physiology in rhythm with the field. Once you're there, we initiate the intention, and then the photons of light that are coherent, not incoherent, will carry that intention into manifestation, into reality. Kind of pretty cool. The technique of Ritam is first started by creating some stillness or some silence. And my favorite technique for that, which also, by the way, creates coherence, is called the 1-minute meditation, which is a meditation using the Bhastrika breathing technique, which is about 30, you could do more, but 30 bellows breaths followed by 30 seconds of being still. In this case, I would extend the 1-minute meditation so it's not just 30 Bhastrika breaths, but it's 30 breaths plus 30 seconds to a minute to 3 minutes to 4 minutes to 5 minutes of being still. So this is what this breath is. Bellows breath creates a level of coherence. It creates a burst of gamma brainwave activity, which is the brainwave of altruism and higher states of consciousness. So when you do the bellows breath, it actually puts the brain into about 10 to 15 minutes of parasympathetic dominance. The thinking, worry, bear in the woods chasing you, nervous system gets pushed to the background. And now you're floating in this field of everything's okay. I'm in more of a repair, rebuild, rejuvenate state versus a fight or flight state. So that's what we do first, this 1-minute meditation. There's a video where you can get a more in-depth instruction of how to do that. And after you do that, then you slow your breath down. After you do the Bhastrika, you will notice that everything gets very, very slow. Your breathing gets slow. You're barely thinking thoughts. You're in this really silent place. And when you're slowing your breath down, just about 5 seconds or a 5 count for the in and a 5 count for the out, and stay in that for about 5 to 10 minutes. And once you feel completely settled, then you can initiate your intention. And that intention really has to be an intention that's in line with Dharma. Dharma means laws of nature, something that's going to create creation, something that's going to create growth, not just for you, but for everyone, everything around you. So when you have this intention, your desire, you want to then ask yourself and just critique it. Is this desire really in the best interest for all, or is it just for me? And then you might want to play with refining that intention to make it something that is really altruistic, good for all, not just for you. And then once that intention has been made, then you want to start to feel that intention as real, like it's already manifest. You don't want to be wanting it. You don't want to be wishing for it. You're having this intention in the field, and the field creates change instantaneously, even faster than the speed of light when that intention is carried on the back of a coherent photon emission, which travels faster than the speed of light. This is what Einstein called spooky action at a distance. We now know it to be quantum entanglement, where if you observe one particle, the spin of one particle of light, like a photon, and that photon is entangled with the photon, say, in another galaxy, the other photon would instantaneously change its spin just by me observing the entangled photon. This is what has been studied again and again and again since Einstein's time, and it's a very, very real phenomenon. In fact, it's the basic principle for quantum computing and quantum cybersecurity. If somebody's hacking into your computer from a distance and those photons are entangled, my photon is going to spin in a different direction when that person observed their photon, their computer, and I would instantly get an alert to shut the computer down, or it would shut down automatically. That is really the very, very, very future of quantum cybersecurity. So that's how it works. So this is going to be instantaneously manifested for you. So you have to have the thinking and the intention that it is manifest. As soon as you elicit and initiate that desire, it is manifest. So now you have to consider it real. So that's the next step, is once you consider it real, now you have to kind of let go of it and trust that it's real, like it's already here. It's just around the corner. I can go see it if I wanted to, if I just get in my car and drive there, it's there. I know it's there. I don't have to think it's coming in 2 weeks. It's coming, it's manifest now. So that's the other piece of the puzzle, is we have to get the manifestation in place. And then once you have that intention and you have that notion that it's real, already manifest, then you want to slip into a state of gratitude. Gratitude for this incredible world that we live in. Just think about this beautiful fall colors and the power of beautiful flowers of spring and the summers. Just think about how grateful all this manifestation is. Well, your intention is now manifest. It's going to be as beautiful. You want to have that same gratitude. So that gratitude for your manifested desire is the key, the very next step. And the next step in that process is to write a letter of gratitude. So when you put this on paper and you write it, it's more manifest. I'm so grateful for having this. I'm so grateful for having this thing that you've desired, or having this change in the world, or whatever your intention might have been. But you're showing real, true gratitude for that now. And I want you to read that letter of gratitude 3 times a day. And then before you go to bed that night, you want to, as part of the idea of not being attached to the fruits of your actions, not being attached to this manifested desire, you want to let it go. So the Vedic way of doing that was to actually, before you go to bed at night, you would read it and then burn it. Burn it in a fireplace or put it in a pot and burn it that way, any way that you can. The pro tip here is to actually do that on a full moon. Traditionally, that was always done on a full moon, where you would actually be outside, you would read your letter of gratitude, your letter of your intended manifested desire, and then you would put it in the pot that last time and burn it and let it go. And that's the beauty of making sure that we constantly and always stay unattached to the return on investment, unattached to the outcome, unattached to the fruits of our actions. This is the Vedic principle. It's the whole point of the Bhagavad Gita, which is to establish being and then perform action. Established being means what we're doing here with Ritam, establishing that experience of total peace and silence, that coherence between your brain, your heart, your breath, and your mind. Everything becomes coherent. Now you're in resonance with the field. You're established in being. And then you perform action. The action is your intention from the field, carried on the back of these coherent photon emissions that carry that into manifest. And that is the whole point of this is Yogastha Kuru Kamani, established being, perform action. That's the first part of the Bhagavad Gita. The second part of the Bhagavad Gita, and there's much more to it than that, of course, but is to not be attached to the fruits of your action. So at the end of this Ritam experience, you put your desires in a pot and you burn them. Why? Two reasons. One, it's already manifest, and two, I'm not attached to it. And so I invite you to go back and read the full article, or I give you step-by-step procedures to create the coherence and therefore the resonance, and also much more information and links to all my articles on the ultra-weak photon emissions and how we can, engage those photons for distance healing through prayer, and how you can do it for self-healing and distance healing. There's so much power from this most subtle perspective. And Ayurveda was all about this concept that the more subtle it is, the more powerful it is. And I wanted to share with you the real true understanding of Ritam, the real true understanding of manifesting desire, making sure that desire is not for you, but it's for all. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. John Douillard. Hi, everybody. I just want to take a minute and tell you what we do here at LifeSpa.com. I've been in practice now for 40 years, 38 of them have been practicing Ayurvedic medicine full-time. For the last 20 years, I've been writing articles and doing videos on the ancient medical wisdom of Ayurveda with the modern science. If something's been around for 1,000 years, still practiced today, and you have modern science to prove it, boy, I really feel like that's something we should all be taking a look at. And that's what we do at LifeSpa.com, and all that information is for free. So just go to LifeSpa.com and search in your health topic, and you'll get the information, the article that you need, hopefully that will help you. While you're there, check out our Ayurvedic store. You can get there through LifeSpa.com or go to store.lifespa.com. And there we have all of our organic Ayurvedic herbs, organic skincare line, more books, tapes, knowledge that we give you is all there at our store. All of our cleansing kits are there in our store. All of our herbs are whole herbs with the natural occurring microbiome, the way it came out of the soil. And that's critically important, because if I took the bugs out of you, you'd be completely different. We take the bugs away from a plant, like sterilizing and making an extract or spraying your food with pesticides, you lose significant benefit of that plant. And that's why we use the whole plant with the natural occurring microbiome. So check us out, learn more about what we're doing here at LifeSpa.com, and we'll see you again.
This recording is brought to you by LifeSpa, where ancient Ayurvedic wisdom meets modern science. Get access to free health video newsletters by Dr. John at LifeSpa.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.